Hello, Align fam, and welcome to another episode of Align, where I would say, as an clearly Asian, I think a lot of times people think of immigrants as people who look different, like they're not white, right? And I feel like there's a whole Caucasian or European community who are still immigrants that don't get enough like attention and don't get enough, I would say, spotlight where they've had to hustle, they've had to build their life. So when I met you, girlfriend, and I heard your story, I just thought like I had to put it out there because you guys go through the same stuff that my parents went through and other people's of like people of color go through. So thank you for coming on board. I'm excited to have you to talk about building the American dream.
Thank you for having me.
And I also love how like I'm catching you in action in work, so it's perfect. I think first thing is would love to hear like why did you want to come here and like talk to me about your experience and what positively surprised you or negatively like why come and then what surprised you about the States to build your career.
You will be surprised. I never even wanted to immigrate to America.
Oh,
So I always knew I'm not gonna live at home because I mean, I don't know, if your listeners know, I finished the dental school in Serbia. I came here for work and travel program just to learn English like every other, Eastern European. And basically when me and my friends came back home, they applied for a green card lottery just, because everybody were doing it. And I got it. So I came to get the green card, then I came back home, and then I was like, you know what? I reached my maximum over there, and it's time for me to challenge myself and see like how far I can go somewhere else where I don't know anything about. So this is the reason why I actually came to the States. I'm not really typical immigrant story that basically because of the uncommon, not a good financial situation back home. I came here, I just purely did this for myself, to push my limits and to see how far I can go.
I love that. So when you got here, what surprised you?
I can't tell you this. First surprised me how people are short, number one.
Okay, for everyone who doesn't know, clearly
I'm Serbian,
okay.
Loud and proud.
Loud and proud. And okay, how tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Okay.
And this is like like an average size for a female over there. 5'8", 5'9", it's an average size.
Right. And we just had an amazing weekend at the Serbian gala where, girl, that's the first day I ever feel like literally a midget. So you want to share the average height of Serbian men so people are
So
aware?
average height, like whatever it says online, I think is like 6 foot. But like when you go there, you're gonna find easily like people like 6'2", 6'3" is like standard.
Yeah.
And I think when I came here, it was like 5'8" or something, like they were shorter than me, and
Yes.
that was the first shock, number one. Okay. But then after that, it's just that you have to like constantly prove yourself to people,
Yeah.
and basically represent yourself, your where you're coming from appropriately, and just to show who you are, and just represent your nation.
Yeah, I love that. I was going to ask you. So at least in Asian, so I'm Chinese, Asian culture, there's a don't like sell yourself, put your head down, don't be so loud and proud, like kind of blend in. So obviously when I'm born and raised here, like what my great grandparents taught me versus what my parents were like, you got to stand up for yourself, whatnot was so different. Is Serbian culture more closely like American culture where you should advocate yourself, you should tell people what you're working on, or is it more like be humble, stay in your lane?
It's more like be humble, stay in your lane, but it's just different because our past, and we have a very rich history as a Serbian people. We've been through a lot, and I think that this is what basically left a lot of mark on our people and on generations of people, the way we think, the way we act. And I mean, you can see this in people that you know, and you can see this in the people like sportsmen that
Yeah.
are coming from Serbia, right? So I think that historical impact is great in my culture, and I think that this is what Americans don't have.
Yeah.
So basically, if we are, because we were facing so many difficulties through the history, we are kind of used on dealing with certain things that Americans did not.
Hmm.
And, when we are put under the pressure, we usually deliver, and we
Yes.
deliver, I would think, better, because for us it's like a slow Tuesday, basically.
Yes. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because the next thing I wanted to ask you is, what do you think Americans, or Canadian, people in the North America,
Mhm.
who have a shorter history, what do you think we could be more grateful for? And I'll say this because our mutual friend whose birthday that we met, I'll never forget, he would say to me, Jess, like when I was going through school, when I was in Serbia, like I was getting bombed. Like literally the city that I was in was being bombed. And I was constantly like in survival mode. So he, like, to your exact point, if you look at like Serbian culture, even a lot of like Eastern Europeans, they're such hustlers. And I would say the worth ethic is actually very close to Asians. I think that's something that I bonded
Mhm.
with me and our mutual friend. Um, so I say that as an example because I look at a lot of Americans, I'm like, you have it so easy and you complain and bitch about the stupidest things.
I think that's the problem also,
Yeah.
because once you're having it easy, you're always in that kind of comfort zone,
Yes.
and basically nothing good grows there. But also, in terms of Asian and Eastern European, I feel that every immigrant that comes to this state is here with the reason and with the purpose. And I think that they come here to make something great from themselves and from their life. And they're not just here to live like an average life.
Yes.
So this is the reason why you see the hustlers within my kind of people and your kind of people, especially if they're like first generation of immigrants, like myself. As I said, I didn't have a need to come here. It's just that I wanted to explore things and push myself. But in terms of our common friend, I agree with him 100%, because I remember, and the way our parents think, it's also like crazy, because when we got bombed, I was the first year of high school, and everything is like the whole city shut down. You get the sirens, like, okay, it's an emergency, you need to go hide somewhere because we are getting bombed, right? And you never experienced this thing before, and then everybody are in a fear first 2 3 days, and then if you go in a basement. Meanwhile, the building can collapse on your head, right? I remember that was like that for a couple of days, and then I remember the feeling when my parents sent me to my cousins in Bosnia, and that feeling that you don't know if you're gonna ever see them again. You know what I mean? And it's just like it leaves the mark on you that you will never see your family again, and you never even thought of it before, about these kind of things before. So when COVID hit here, for me it was like not really funny, but in a way, like we've been through worse, so this thing I didn't really get stressed about at all, you know what I mean? Because one thing is to be under immediate danger, which means that your life can end right then and there. And another thing is that somebody telling you, okay, there is this thing in the air, it's contagious, like, and I'm in a medical field. I know exactly how viruses and bacteria work. And it might happen to you, it might not, it depends from your immune system, this and that. And I was like, you know what, I'm just not gonna bite this bait,
Yeah.
because I've been through worse, where I could die myself, and I could never any of my family members can die, and I could never see them again.
Yeah. And
So this is the reason why we act different. And also people were afraid for a while, and because you can be afraid for a certain period of time, and then after that time we were like, okay, now what? We cannot be afraid constantly.
yeah.
After a while we had a people, I think not even 2 weeks, where they would go on a bridge and they would be like, okay, we are making a concert right now and we're here. You want a bomb? Just shoot right there. We will be targets, and then the whole world will see who you are, who we are, and then this is it, game over. You know what I mean? And I remember my parents even sending me to school, because obviously the schools were closed, and then we had to finish the year. And then they were like, no, 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 you have to go to school, to finish the grade and everything. Meanwhile, they could just bomb the bridge. We're just another level of crazy.
Yeah. Well, I would first say thank you for sharing that, because I know no matter how long it's been, it's still, you still feel like, I get chills when you share that story. So I think thank you for sharing that. I definitely feel like people can learn a lot and empathize, and real, to your point, being more grateful for like the security and the safety that we do have, right? At least right now. And I
Mm-hmm.
would say, obviously, besides being resilient, besides being obviously hardworking and being able to handle a lot, like that's, I feel like that's the nature of Serbian culture. What is something else that you feel like Americans can learn from Serbian culture?
um Work-wise or
Anything. It could be life. What
life, I think that we more rely to each other through the history and our culture. We are more family orientated, and we like social connections. So it's very common. I don't know, have you been to Serbia or not?
I've been to Belgrade.
Okay, so I took some of my friends over there, and some, they are Eastern European, but they have never been to Serbia, so the culture is kind of similar. And then I took my Colombian Ecuadorian friend with me like this summer, and she was like amazed. She was like, oh my god, you guys are like us, very social. You like to hang out after work. It's not only work, there is that like work-life balance, while in the States you only go to work, and then you just after that there's very little time left for anything else. And in terms of like family life, if you have a family, like let's say that you're married and then you have kids, this and that, obviously globalization did the thing, but still I feel that family is more connected, and I feel that you can still take your child to your grandparents, even to your neighbor, or like your friends or something. Everybody are there like to jump in occasionally to help you.
Yeah, I
Well,
love.
in the States, I feel like, you don't even know your first neighbor. And I'm lucky I know mine because he's Eastern European. And he jumps in when I need it.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, him and his wife, they're amazing people. They're Croatian. And yeah, I'm lucky enough that where I live, I'm surrounded with Eastern European.
Yeah, I could not agree more. So, for context, I went to Belgrade, who was highly recommended by our mutual Serbian Montenegrin friend, and he wasn't with us, but he literally set me up with everyone local at every point, like Montenegrin, Croatian, and then we went to Belgrade, right? And his friends, because of him, took me in like I was. It was,
100%.
like I was just floored, because I think, again, like I think Asian culture, Chinese culture is quite similar to that. Like we go all out, but you're right. Like an American culture, there's a little bit of like a,
I love doing business with Chinese people, by the
yeah,
way. Oh,
yeah, right. We love working hard. We love making money. We love doing things right. But I say this, and I couldn't agree more. I would say after COVID, I've definitely noticed in the States, people are craving genuine connections, because they realize, oh, once you're locked at home, who's actually checking on you? Who actually cares about you? Oh, the partying, the just the hookup culture, oh, I'm sorry, there's no warm body next to you because no one actually cares about you. She cared about your wallet or he cared about your body, right? I think that's why I don't think I've told you this, but we haven't met until after. I actually hosted events where I interviewed over 400 people for 50 spots to make sure that they're genuine, like good people to come in so people can make genuine connections.
Mm-hmm.
I only did it because people keep saying to me like, how do you meet good people? Well, what I'm like, you know what, screw it. I can throw a good event. I can throw a party. Let's do it. 2 years later, I found out about a month ago, a couple that met at my first event is engaged. And that's why I was like, I got chose because I was like, all the hard work, all the things and I think you resonate with this too. If you have a burning desire within you that's like, you need to do this, you need to help, you need to do it, especially when you hear, like with your clients, you take feedback from your clients, right? I take feedback from my people. Do the thing because people are craving genuine connections. So I couldn't
People are
agree more.
designed like that. If
Yes.
you look at the each person, what they want the most,
Yeah.
it's to be accepted, number one, for who they are or who they are or they think they are, and to have that like a genuine connection with the partner, or that they're part of something bigger like a community or something else. So
Yep.
those are two main things. So, if you get that, I think that, I used to say like, I just need one person to conquer the world. I just need one person next to me to conquer the world.
Such a Sagittarius comment. It's coming soon. I can't wait. Love that. And I would say, final question is, I think you do a really good job about this too. There is a balance between assimilating and like, being part of the American culture, now that you're here, but also holding on to your roots and not forgetting your roots. How do you balance it? How do you recommend immigrants balancing it? I think because it's important.
Mm-hmm. For sure. um to first of all, to be able to come here and do anything, you have to be open for new experiences in life.
Yeah.
You have to be open to work very hard, and like to expose yourself to something new. That's number one. Then after that, if you wanna live in a new place, you have to assimilate with people that live there, which means that you have to be a little bit more giving and resilient and adaptive.
Yes.
And there's a lot of good things that happen here, and if you take them and practice those things within yourself in your daily life, I think that they can make you a better person, number one, or your business, whatever you do. But also it's very important to stay true to who you are, and to never forget where you're coming from. Like, I love who I am, I love where I'm coming from. I think that to some degree we have unfair advantage, even though this unfair advantage was very hard at certain times. But also I think that this is the thing that made us who we are today.
And I love how you spin that. I got chills. You consider what you went through as an advantage. And I love that about you because you don't play victim.
Yes. I don't play victim, but this is the way I grew up.
Yeah.
Because this is how my mother raised me and my brother. And if you want something, then you don't go and cry about it. You just go, you sweat yourself and you go and get it. You know what I mean? It's just that nothing in this world came just like that from the sky. Maybe my green card, but that's
Yeah. I love that.
But also I'm not even sure. I think that's also, because when we went for that work and travel program, from three of us, I made the most. So I think they were like, okay, we can make the most taxes on this one, so let's get it in.
Exactly. There's always a two-way street.
Yeah. So yeah, I I rarely complain. I try not to. I try to, you know, push myself to be better version of myself every day, for myself, for the person that I'm with, and you know, try to be like a role model or something for the people from my community, and to show and prove people that you can make it no matter how hard you had it when you were young, and it doesn't matter where you're coming from. It's important where you're going.
I love that. I got chills again. Girl, you're just giving me chills all day. So I always wrap up with, I believe every person has a gift. That if you use this gift, you're going to benefit humanity, and you're, whether it be make people more joyful, healed, happier, woke, whatever it may be. What do you think your gift is?
I think I'm very skilled in what I do. I have a lot of people, you know, acknowledging that. But I think also that, you know, I bring them closer together, like in terms of my work and my community. Nobody really likes coming to the dentist, but for some reason they like coming to see me. And I think that I break the stereotypes of typical dentist and typical like a woman. That's what I think.
I love it. Thank you so much, girl. Keep shining.